Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Pressure Painting in Peace. For today, this is going to be a more relaxed video and more about art because I really haven't gotten anything new from Teal, and that's not her fault or anyone's fault. It's just everyone's busy and it's hard to reach out and stuff like that, so we are just continuing next week. So next week's episode will be about another subject of Teal's process. For now, I'm going to talk about where I'm at, problems with creating, and what I've been working on. So first, where I'm at. I've been continuing with the journaling process, and it's been keeping me on track and leading me to a more happy existence. But I have been very busy because I also have classes and I have my internship, and it's just a lot of work has been piling up at once. So I've had to start kind of laying out what really stresses me out and figuring out a way to organize my day. So I've been bullet journaling a lot more, organizing things more by time, stuff like that, and using the things I talked about in my last video to cope with the stress. So if you haven't seen those, then you should go and check out the last video and see my topics for helping me de-stress and just become a little more even. So I also wanted to talk about my problems with creating. So as you can see, I paint, and being a creator can be anything. You could be a writer, a painter, an artist of any subject. Anything that you produce is a creation to me, so that makes you a creator. And when you're a creator, you can be hard on yourself. My previous video, I painted a landscape, and honestly, I was very hard on myself in that video because I wasn't exactly very happy with how the end result turned out for the actual painting. I wanted it to look a certain way and it didn't really get there, but I still managed to have the painting. I have it on display because it's a constant reminder that even though I create, not everything's going to be perfect. I would say as an artist, you need to always put yourself out there and post the things that you may not be proud of, because you can get feedback on it and learn a little bit more about how other people perceive your artwork. That was my purpose of actually putting it in the video, because even though I wasn't exactly happy with it, I still wanted to show what I created and how everyone makes mistakes, and that's okay. And sometimes it's just not in our wheelhouse to create something that we think we can, but at least the attempt was made and at least you created something. My style is kind of random and all over the place. My first video was with gouache and I painted fruit, and then my second video was a building kind of setup, and then my third video was a landscape, and now this one's a portrait. So it's kind of all over the place. I use different types of style, and in this one I think it really blends together my style. Like with my portraits and stuff, I try to keep it somewhat realistic with the faces and what they're wearing, but when I actually move on to the landscape, you can see my style of landscapes poking through, a little more random and less defined as the people are. There can be a lot of stress behind creating something perfect, and this I did have a lot of stress creating, because this isn't just for me, this is for my sister. This is her and her boyfriend, and I wanted to create something that they would like and they would enjoy, and I know that she's my sister and she'll like whatever I make, but there's still that stress behind it of, is this perfect? Is this going to work? And that happens every time I paint. It happened last video, it happened especially in the second video where I painted the buildings and stuff. It's not something I'm used to, not something I've ever created before, and it was very hard to kind of wrap my mind around it, but in the end I usually enjoy what I create. So currently what I've been working on is creating a website, and this is for my class, but it is something I've always wanted to do to kind of display my art. And when I first thought of the website, I thought of it more as like a portfolio where I can display my art and have a little more professional contact information, stuff like that, instead of just having an Instagram. As I went through actually creating the website, I realized that I didn't want it just to be surrounded by stuff about me. I wanted it to involve other artists and creators out there. So I started this section that was all about a creator spotlight, to put a spotlight on other creators around the world and get their knowledge on what their process is and what they think about making art and how they go about it. So I've interviewed 2 people, and of course they're my best friends because it's hard to kind of meet new artists sometimes, but that's how I'm starting out, and a lot of other people have contacted me and kind of want to be part of it. So the first one was actually about one of my friends, and she is an artist just like me, but she paints different things like with line work and watercolor, and we just talked about what her kind of inspiration and mood is for her art. And she talked a lot about just painting things around her and nearby to show the beauty in your surroundings, because especially during this time we can't really go everywhere we want to, but there's a lot of beauty surrounding us, so why not focus on that? The second artist I interviewed was my other friend, and he's actually in art school and he's studying to make this his career, and he talked about style a lot and how there can be a lot of pressure surrounding the artist community to have a style to appeal to the masses. And that is what they teach you in art school. They want you to have a style by the time you graduate or you end a class, and it can be very stressful and demanding. He describes his style as whatever he likes. It's plants right now, but later on he wants to work on new things and different mediums. But he is constantly growing as an artist and creating new things that he might have not expected. When I think about the art community, I tend to think about this beauty standard almost of your artwork. It has to be perfect. It has to be in line with what everyone wants to see, but that's not always the truth about art, because when you're creating, you create what you like, and it can change from day to day what you want to actually create. So today I wanted to create this painting. I wanted to make something that represented the love between my sister and her boyfriend, and this is something that she's always wanted and something I wanted to provide for her. And I was happy with the result because it was something that I really cared about. But if I was painting something I didn't really care about, like, let's take an example of the video I posted last week, and it's not that I didn't care about the painting, it's that I didn't really understand the painting. And that can be really hard. And my style is more about understanding what is in front of me, and if I don't understand the landscape, I'm not going to understand the painting overall. I honestly think the biggest takeaway from my art and what I've created so far is that it's not always going to be perfect, but that doesn't mean I stop growing, because when you stop painting and you stop creating, you stop learning from your mistakes, and that can really get hard for you because it's hard for you to jump back into it and really have fun with it. Art is supposed to be fun, and if it's not fun for you, maybe it's not for you. And if you don't enjoy what you're creating, then why bother doing that? Honestly, if you are creating something and you're not thoroughly enjoying the process, switch what you're creating. Maybe you're not a painter, maybe you're a sculptor, or maybe you like doing graphic design. You just find your niche and you continue through it until you feel like you've perfected it and maybe you're ready to move on. Or if you haven't perfected it, you learn that you can move on to something else and enjoy that too. So if you really love art, then create and have fun with it. So that's it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me ramble on about art and what I think about it. I hope to have some more content for you next week relating to Teal's work, and I'll see everyone next week. Bye.